In today's episode of Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine, we are going to be talking about the power of authenticity. We're going to give you 3 tips on how to live a powerful life that is authentically yours, okay? The first tip we're going to talk about is authenticity and solitude, and how oftentimes you will find that people around you in your peer groups, on your jobs, in your family, whatever the case may will be intimidated at the fact that you don't have a need to run with the pack. They will be intimidated with the fact that you are very comfortable standing in your own self-validation. Secondly, we're going to talk about speaking your truth, telling your story, owning your story, making no apologies for the truth that is yours. And thirdly, we're going to talk about the reward and recognition that comes with the power of your authenticity. You don't want to miss this episode. Let's get into it. In life, you may discover that people have a real problem with individuals who choose to live their lives authentically as themselves. They take issue when you decide to not be a sheeple. When you decide to stand on your own truth and be authentically yourself, people who prefer to be a sheeple, people who prefer to run with the pack, people who prefer to receive their validation from other people by being a part of a clique will be irritated with you when you don't need and or want to be a part of the clique. This could be in your family, this could be on your job. I remember when I used to be in the workforce and I would be filling out applications or even going online looking at job openings. There are certain jobs that on the application or on the qualifications of the job, one of the qualifications will be a self starter. In order to fulfill this job, you need to have the ability to be a self-starter. The second qualification that I sometimes see is that you need to be able to complete tasks unsupervised, right? And so in some positions, it is praised for an individual to be able to work alone and complete the task. But in some situations, we find ourselves sometimes in life, when you have the ability to be able to stand in your own authenticity, people will be flustered with your ability to work by yourself, to get the job done by yourself. This is not talking about being antisocial. This is not talking about, being in hermit mode, although there are times for that, right? This is talking about that whatever it is you are working towards, whatever your goal is, whatever you are trying to accomplish in life, there are people who are going to be around you that will be flustered with the fact that you don't need validation from them in order to accomplish whatever you're trying to accomplish. You don't need to be a part of a clique in order to get the job done. Because of this, right, people often can become passive aggressive, stalkers even of your energy because they don't have it. They don't have it because you're too busy locking in on what it is you're trying to accomplish, and you don't seek the validation from other people. You don't seek approval from someone else. And because you're not seeking approval, then they're not able to get into your energy and alter your energy as it relates to what you're trying to accomplish. They're not able really to block you because the door is not open. You haven't opened the door for them to come in and dispose of their energy in your energy field, and therefore alter your goals, alter your destination, alter your accomplishments by altering you through what they will call constructive criticism or positive feedback, which I'm sure many of us know how many times people will say, I'm just giving you constructive criticism. I'm just giving you, and it was nothing constructive about it. Let's just be honest. It wasn't positive feedback. There was nothing positive about it. right? A lot of people on YouTube, I'm sure, can attest to this as content creators. People will get into your comments and leave comments where they think they're being constructively, giving constructive criticism, or they think they're giving you some sort of positive feedback, but it is heavily laced with antagonism. It is heavily laced with make your page about me, change this for me, don't do this for me because I don't like this, and you shouldn't have wore that, and you shouldn't have had that on, you shouldn't have said that. People want to censor you because they think in their own narcissistic mind that you, as a creator, need their validation and their approval. And because you create out of a space that is authentically yours, you don't need anybody's validation and you don't need anybody's approval. If you don't like it, there are a plethora of other creators that you could go to, right? Because listen, we all have a right to our opinion. We all have a right to our opinion. I dare to say that we all even have a right to express our opinion. But don't move out of being authentically yourself trying to satisfy the opinions of people around you. The people who cannot affect what you are creating or trying to accomplish, they cannot affect your sense of style, your sense of belonging. They cannot affect how you see yourself, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, will literally become passive aggressive stalkers of your energy because they cannot affect your energy. And this is when they turn to gossip, lies, disrespect, slander, in any of the sort, which is a result of their own insecurity with your sense of self security. You being secure within yourself will bring up the insecurity of many people. I have had this happen to me time and time and time again. I have had people project upon me how uncomfortable my sense of authenticity makes them. Now, they're not going to come out and say, hey, I really do, they're not going to say it, in other words, in a way to where it's even digestible. They're going to say stuff like, you acting funny, and I don't know how to take you. And then, you know what I mean? They're going to say it in ways it's like, okay, and what do you want me to do with that bit of information? Because you don't have to take me. If I'm acting funny, then you shouldn't even really be in my presence to tell me that, right? Like you can easily make the decision to avoid me. And that's too easy. That's too easy because honestly, it's not that you're acting funny. Honestly, it's not that you're not approachable. It's that they have a deep-seated insecurity within themselves that they want to bring to your acknowledgement. They want to bring to your attention. They actually want to get into your energy and figure out how do you stand so secure in yourself because I lack that. And instead of them just coming and saying, hey, can you help me? Because I noticed that you are very secure in yourself. I noticed the way you dress and stuff like that and the way you carry yourself and so on and so forth. And I'm just having an issue and I feel like you may could help me in this area based on what I see you projecting as a self-secure individual. Could you maybe help me? Instead of them saying that, they'll come and dump their insecurities and try to push that energy on you to try to dim down your light, dim down your confidence, dim down like your frequency and your vibration to match theirs. But when you are living authentically yourself, you will have none of that and you can see it a mile away, right? You will outlive, outgrow, outshine every untruth perceived or spoken about you because it's not a part of your truth. Your truth can only be spoken by you. Your story can only be told by you. They will lie on you because they want to be a part of your story. So they will project themselves into your story by creating or fabricating themselves into your story, right? They want to be a part of your story so bad that they will resolve to just making shit up. They will just make it up just so they can have somebody or something to tell someone about their interaction with you, which never happened. Well, because they want to be named among you so bad, because they want people to know that you had they had an interaction with you, they will make up things to project themselves, to insert themselves into your story. You don't have to move with the crowd. You don't have to move with the pack at all. You don't have to participate in the popularity contest. You don't have to take part in the trends, the fads. You don't have to go along to get along. You know, you don't have to have a go along to get along mentality. That mentality is for the weak. That mentality is for those who do not know how to speak up for themselves. That mentality is for those who don't know how to tell their truth, to tell their story. That mentality is for those who do not know how to be authentically themselves. My definition of authenticity is when who you are and what you do is in alignment with each other. How many times have we participated in things, taking on particular positions, roles, tasks that actually was not an extension of who we really are? This is what I have coined in my life when I found myself doing this and have been doing it for years, right? When I stepped out of the workforce, I said, I'm tired of the busy work. I know I'm getting paid to work, and I know that money compensates me and it does certain things. But what's really troubling my spirit is I feel like every day I get up, I'm just doing busy work. I have to find a career. I have to find a source of income. I have to find out what will fulfill me and center my work around that, because it was no longer I just was really irritated with feeling like I'm just doing busy work. Authenticity is when who you are at the core of you, who you are at the soul and the spirit of you, who you have been created to be divinely, and what you are doing in your life is in alignment with each other. Authenticity is what makes you beautiful. It's what makes you powerful. It's what makes you unique. There's a scripture that says like the salt of the earth, right? That talks about the salt of the earth. When you are authentically yourself and you are showing up in the world authentically as yourself, you have become the salt of the earth, so to speak. Now, the scripture says that if the salt loses its savor, where, wherewith shall it be salted again? You can't salt, right? Like you can't add salt to salt. Salt is salt. When you know that you are the salt, you don't need to be seasoned by any other validation from anybody else. I don't need your swag. I don't need your style. I don't need anything from you. I don't need your constructive, non-constructive criticism. You know what I mean? I don't need your positive, yet actually came out very negative criticism, opinions. I don't need it. I don't need you to tell me that I should do something different because you didn't like the way I did it. I don't need to seek out your validation. I I set the trends that I follow. I don't follow the trends that somebody else has set. All right? I don't follow the trends that somebody else has set. I set my own. I set my own bar. I set my own standard. I determine how I'm going to execute a thing. I determine that based on what feels good to me, what feels authentic to me. I dress the way I dress because this is authentic to me. I do whatever it is I do. You do whatever it is you do authentically because it is what feels authentic to you. It doesn't say that we don't take certain bits and pieces from here, like, oh, that was a good idea, this is a good idea. But when you are busy living your authentic life, although you may glean a piece from here or learn a lesson from here or experience a teachable moment over here, you still funnel that information through the soul and the spirit of you and manifest what is authentically yours. We all receive inspiration from various different places, from various different people. But inspiration is very different than running with trends, running with fad, just duplicating, copycatting, impersonating another frequency. You are your own frequency. When you live authentically as yourself, when you create authentically as yourself from yourself, your soul, and your spirit, there is reward and recognition on the other end of that. You will be rewarded and recognized for speaking your truth. Your story is going to be the thing that opens up your life to new opportunities, new possibilities. Your story. There is two sides to every story, they say, right? There's two sides to every story. I believe that to be true. And I believe that the truth of the story, most times, but not always, because some individuals will tell a story and it's just an outright lie. But when you are in relationships with people and you are having ins and outs and energy exchanges with individuals, everybody's perception of their reality is different. I don't care how close you are to them. I don't care how well you think you know them. The way you perceive yourself may not be the way someone else perceives you. It doesn't mean that they're lying. It just means that that is their self-perception of you. So there is two sides to every story, oftentimes. Okay? So in this situation, I'm not talking about when somebody just outright lies on you. I'm talking about when there is two sides to this communication, this interaction, this experience with this person. They have their story, I have mine. The truth is somewhere in the middle. The truth is somewhere in the middle. But the only side you are responsible for is your own. The only side of the story that you are responsible for is your own. Under no circumstances do you allow someone to rob you of your side of the story, your story, as it relates to that experience, that interaction, that exchange. You don't let no one rob you of your side of the story. That's your side of the story. That's your testimony. You understand? I remember years ago, I've talked before in other episodes where I was a part of this church, and when I left the church, Spirit gave me the mission because there was a lot of spiritual abuse going on in the ministry at that time. And as Spirit taught me and pulled me out of the ministry, Spirit a year or so later told me to go on and create a radio show. And I created a radio show here in my city, and I was on every Sunday right after church because it's a spiritual, the concept of the radio show was about spiritual abuse, and this is what Spirit told me to teach and talk about on the radio every Sunday, right after when people are getting out of church and everything. And this particular station was one of the most popular stations in the channel. It played a lot of gospel and things like that. So I was really smart at my demographic and choosing the right channel to go on. And so I did that for about 6 months. And some of the messages, some of the things I was talking about, when it relates to spiritual abuse, was not only things that I was learning, but it was things that I had experienced in the ministry that I had just not too long separated from. And so, quite naturally, some of the membership heard what I was talking about, including the leader. And so, after a little while, I got a call, myself and another friend of mine. Well, my friend got the call, and we were asked to come to the leader's house, have a conversation. He wanted to see us. And we have been gone from the ministry now probably about, shoot, maybe about a year or so. And so if not longer. But we went to his house and we sat down, and we caught up. He asked how we were doing and things like that, and we were both happy to see him, because irregardless of what we experienced, you have to understand, we considered him to be a spiritual father. We considered him to be a spiritual father. And so though we had differences, though I disagreed with many things, I still considered him to be a spiritual father at that time, right? And in the midst of the conversation, when he started to talk, he started to bring up things that was said on the radio, on my radio show. And he didn't agree with the things that was said, because and specifically the things he didn't agree with is the things that he thought that I was speaking specifically about him and to him. I wasn't speaking to him, though I may have been speaking about him, because what I experienced in that ministry was my story. And with all due respect, because this is a leader who was heavy on not questioning leadership. He was heavy on making you feel like if you questioned his leadership, if you questioned what was said across the pulpit, that God was going to get you, God was going to strike you down. You don't, and hence the spiritual abuse that I'm talking about, right? Because that's one of the foundations of spiritual abuse. When a spiritual leader makes you feel like you can't question something that was said, even if you want understanding. Even if you just want understanding, or even if you don't agree, right? And so he was really big on that energy. And so while I'm sitting there and I'm listening to him bring up things, and I just politely told him, I said, with all due respect, I hear what you're saying, but my experiences in that ministry are my experiences, and I won't let anybody take that from me, because that's my story. That's my story, and it'll be my story that opens up doors for me. It'll be my story. I'm still, even though I'm not a part of your church anymore, I'm still very much called to ministry. I'm still very much called to assist the people who are growing spiritually or want to grow spiritually. I can't let you take my testimony. I can't let you take my story, because that story and that experience will be the very thing that will go with me, that will help someone else. And if I let you strip that from me because you are in your ego, then I will do myself and the world a disjustice, right? You have the responsibility of telling your story. You do not let anyone take your side of the story. When you are on the just side of the story, the other individuals who showed themselves to you in an unjust, disrespectful, unloving way are going to try to justify their childish behavior by lying. They're going to try to justify their actions by bending the truth. Because the truth of what happened, the truth of who you are, puts them in a bad light. And you got to understand, this is a light that they try so hard to avoid. There's a scripture that when Jesus was speaking, and he said that if the light in you be darkness, how great is that light? You could take that one or two ways. You could take that one or two ways, right? But if the light in you, if what people see from you is darkness, if they can see your darkness, then how great is your darkness? How great is your darkness if they can see it? How great is your wickedness if they can see it? How great is your evil if they can see it? You understand? Speaking your truth is not about thinning and proving. It's about using your truth as moments of sharing. Using your truth to create shareable moments, teachable moments, testimonies that you can provide to help others in similar situations. You don't have anything to prove when you show up in your truth, when you show up in your authenticity. You don't have anything to prove. That truth is founded in kindness, compassion, love, and mutual respect for all. Remember, the truth is what brings reward and recognition. But the truth is also, and reward and recognition is also, what brings out the insecurities in other people. The truth is respected by those who respect truth, who value truth. Authenticity is honored by those who honor their own authentic selves. People who don't have value for the truth succumb to being gossipers, liars, slanderers, which brings discredit really only to themselves. It only discredits them when they give over to the energy of lying, being a liar, not just lying, because see, sometimes we all do tell a little something, but when you have taken on lying as a frequency, like this is what you are a liar, you are a slanderer, you sow discord amongst the brethren, the sisterin. It just discredits themselves. They dig holes for people. They dig ditches for people, and they end up falling in it themselves. Understand this. You will outlive not only the lie, but the liar. I want to end with this scripture because I found it so profound. I'm going to read it out of the Amplified Bible, however. Let me pull it up really quickly. Here we go. This is Psalms 58. I want to read this. And you might want to take this down because as we all know that the Psalms are great for your incantations, your spell work, your protection work, your return to senders, anything you need to get done. We know that the Psalms are great for that. This is Psalms 58. It says, "Do you indeed speak righteousness, O gods, heavenly beings? Do you judge fairly, O sons of men? No. In your heart you devise wrongdoing. On earth you deal out the violence of your hands. The wicked," this was the one right here, listen. "The wicked are estranged from the womb. These go astray from birth, speaking lies, even twisted partial truths." I'm going to read that again. The wicked are estranged. They are cut off. They are separated. They are divorced from the womb. Now, when you know what the womb symbolizes, that's a bad place to be in. You understand what I'm saying? That's not where you want to be. The wicked are estranged from the womb. These go astray from birth. They go astray from the moment they are born, speaking lies, even twisted partial truths. Their poison is like the venom of a serpent. They are like the deaf-horned viper that stops up its ear so that it does not listen to the voice of charmers or of the skillful enchanter casting cunning spells. O God, break their teeth in their mouth. Break out the fangs of the young lions, O Lord. Let them flow away like water that runs off. When he aims his arrows, let them be as headless shafts. Let them be as a snail which melts away, secretes slime in parentheses, as it goes along. Like the miscarriage of a woman which never sees the sun. Before your cooking pots can feel the fire of thorns, burning under them as fuel. He will sweep them away as a whirlwind, the green and the burning ones alike. The unyielding righteous will rejoice when he sees the vengeance of God. He will wash his feet in the blood of the wicked. Men will say, surely there is a reward for the righteous. Surely there is a God who judges on the earth. Now I wanted to go back to about the serpents, right? Because I looked that up. I looked that up because I wanted to know, what did that mean? Let me see where it said it. Okay, right here. That wasn't what it says. The cobra that shuts its ears symbolizes those who refuse to listen to wisdom and correction. Those who refuse to listen to wisdom and correction. They are like poisonous snakes, like deaf cobras that can't hear. Their venom is like a poisonous snake, even like a deaf serpent that shuts its ears. You have to understand, to me, righteousness is authenticity. This is why blanket one shot rules to govern everybody and then call it righteousness is impossible to actually attain, for because we're all individual, we're all dealing with different frequencies, different things about ourselves. And so I really feel like that righteousness is about authenticity. When you have learned to live authentically as yourself, and not only you living authentically as yourself, but you are okay with people themselves being authentically themselves. You don't feel no way when somebody shows up authentically as themselves in whatever way they see fit. Not only have you attained righteousness, but you are righteous, right? You give righteousness to those around you. You give them the freedom to live righteously, authentically as themselves. And many people will not hear your wisdom, will not hear correction, will not hear and never become the righteous, because they're so busy trying to put stumbling blocks in the way of the authentic person that it robs them of their space, place, and timing to live authentically as themselves. Speak your truth. Tell your story. Be authentically you. Express yourself in a way that is authentically you. If you're weird, be weird. If you love to laugh, then laugh. If you're emotional, be emotional, child. If you're bold, be bold. If you're courageous, be courageous. If you have ambition and you have many ambitions, go after all of them. That's what feeds your soul. That's what feeds your spirit. Right? So we are being encouraged from the mother, the father, from our ancestors, our spirit team, to make no excuses for who you are. You don't have to make other people comfortable with with your authenticity. You don't have to land softly. You understand? You don't have to land hardly. You don't have to land at all. You can choose who you want to fellowship with, who you want to partner with, who you want to build with. And when you run across those individuals who will slander and disrespect and speak against you, know that you will outlive all of it, because your life is predicated upon your truth. And the lie that they are telling, the story that they are telling, is not a part of your truth. Therefore, is not a part of your life. This has been Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. Thank you so much for tapping in with me today, my God sisters. I hope that something was said to encourage you, enlighten you, just to lift you up, to let you know that it is okay to be authentically who you are. You don't owe an explanation to no one, because those who love you will understand you. Those who love you will support you. All right? Please take a moment to subscribe, hit the like button, exchange a little energy with your girls, support the channel with your like. I greatly appreciate it. Turn on the notification bell if you have not, so you'll know when I'm back with another Sacred Empowerments of the Divine Feminine. I wish all of you well. Enjoy your day, night, evening, whatever time you're watching this, and I will see and speak with you guys on the next one. Peace, family.